Whatever you travel in, a Class B, C, A, or a huge trailer, or possibly some other mode of transportation, everybody that travels needs to have a travel plan. Oh, hello, welcome back. I'm just sitting down here going over my map. This is a map and how I diagrammed everything for my trip through Montana recently. How I organize my trips is such that, first of all, I have an idea where I want to go, whether it's one state or two states, or a specific area in that state. I'll get the state map out, and then I'll get my huge benchmark book out to double over to back up what this map says, because they're always changing maps. They're not always kept up. And that way I can bounce the information from the map to the map booklet. Anyway, it's a good idea to compare things, because a lot of maps might not have stuff that has been there for a long, long time, but now is not considered, well, current. An example of that is the Redwood Highway, with some of the really old entertainment and natural sights to see back in the 60s that have fallen into disrepair but still exist and are still very interesting and accessible, though they're not as nice as the heyday of the 60s and 70s. They are still there. So I figure out where I want to go. Like on this map, you can see I'll take a felt pen and highlight my routes. And then I'll look for scenic byways off the main routes, because I don't really like traveling major freeways or major highways. I want to get off of that, away from the masses, away from the craziness. So, like here I figured, okay, from, say, Spokane, Washington into Montana, across Idaho, I figured out how far I wanted to go and where I wanted to stop. And then I'll use the Google app to decide the distance driven and the time it takes. And then I'll take in consideration if there's anything between point A and B that I want to stop off, have time to relax and explore. And then, depending on what that item is, after I look it up on the internet, I'll add more driving time to the time Google says it takes you to get from where you're at now to where you want to be that night. So I always give myself a good buffer so I don't feel rushed in between point A and point B, and I can explore the things I plan to see, and maybe I'll see something I didn't know, and I want to have time to do that. So I don't rush myself. So usually I keep it down to maybe 3-4 hours max. If I'm really pushing it, maybe 5, but that's like if there's like absolutely nothing between point A and point B. Like sometimes in Arizona or California on the east side, there's absolutely nothing for hours. So there's no reason to not just blast through it. So, as I say, I figure out where I want to go, how far I want to go for the trip as a round trip. Then I'll circle, like you can see, some highlights, places I plan on spending the night, curious sights to see, natural sights, historical sights, western sights, and kind of odd curiosities. And I'll map the whole thing out, and then I'll go back and I'll decide, okay, where on this trip would it be advantageous to have reservations made prior? And then I'll decide that, make those, get printouts of the acceptance, the camping spot, the camping number, the days I'll be there. and have that taken care of. And then I also, these other places that I think are boondocking or first come, first serve, national forests and stuff, I'll always have a backup. Someplace else I can go, at least one or two places I can go within that area if my first choice is filled up. So always have a backup, at least one or two. And then I've got that all done. I've got it mapped out. I've highlighted my route. I know the points I'm going to stop off and sleep the nights. I know what I want to see in between. Then type up my own personal itinerary, day to day, where I'm going, how much time it'll take me to get from that point to the next point, driving time wise. The points in between I want to see. I have a whole layout of what I plan on doing and seeing each day as I casually drive to my next stop. I don't really seek out RV parks or huge campgrounds. Usually I like the small state campgrounds, national forests, dry camping, boondocking, whatever you want to call it, because we are pretty much self-sufficient, solar, water, everything for a couple of weeks or more. We're pretty reserved on what we use. So that's how we plan our time out. So that was the Montana trip we just took. What I'm working on next is a trip to the different Washington state parks. That's going to be our next plan. Right here I got the Olympic National Park map and the highways that go around it. And we are planning on getting up into the north coast of Washington state along the beautiful coast here, and also into one of the few temperate rainforests in the United States, which is right up here. So we've got lots of plans here for the fall. The winter up here is supposed to be very mild because of the strong El Nino. I expect it to be warmer than usual, drier than usual, and nicer weather. So, with that in mind, we're planning some good adventures. And I hope you'll be along with us to enjoy them too. There are things up here that I think will interest all of you. Those that are from Washington State, Oregon, British Columbia, Montana, Idaho, or elsewhere. So, I just enjoy showing what there is to see in the Puget Sound, Pacific Northwest area. It's still an area of great beauty, and hopefully by showing you what there is up here to enjoy and protect, we'll have it to enjoy for generations still. So with that, Kate's flopped out down here sleeping. Kate's doing much better. She can actually go upstairs, downstairs, and she's not tripping and falling a lot. So she's come back. It's taken her about 2 months from her third bout with canine vestibular disease, but she's a tough girl. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. We've reached 500 subscribers. And I'll tell you, I never thought I'd even get 12 when I started this channel, because I thought it was such a very, very small pigeonhole. An old guy like me with 2 dogs traveling. So I appreciate everyone that watches our videos, everyone that subscribes, and everyone that takes the time to reply to us to say, hey, I liked that or this, or what was this, and communicate with us, because in today's world where communication can happen in the blink of an eye, so many people still don't even do that. So anyway, I'm going to close this out here. I got to get back to work on some other videos I'm making on bed and breakfasts on the Oregon coast, and some other ideas I'm putting together for you. So it's not just travel videos, it's I hope information videos that'll help all of you out there to explore more of the Pacific Northwest and enjoy what we have. So until next time, the girls and I, Katie and Sarah, downstairs sleeping, wish you all happy trails and woof woof. Catch you later.